Today, we're talking about Ocean's 11. Ooh, baby, I love this movie. Homebrew is where the heart is. It's where dungeon masters, murder hobos, dice goblins, and chaos gremlins come together to turn big ideas into unforgettable adventures. So how do you take that spark, a setting, a villain, a mechanic, and turn it into something that actually works at the table? It's simple. We brew it with an acronym. We've got 6 flavorful categories to walk through designed to help you build campaigns that capture the feel of your favorite worlds and IPs. And we're going to go through the categories of B, base build. What are the core components? R, resonance and vibe. This is where we make our poetic thief hearts sing. E, extra froth, which makes this wildly fun. What's the spice or the razzle-dazzle? W, weird for us. That's the strange little twist you'd never find on D&D Beyond, the proverbial Ella Fitzgerald. The I, inciting quest. Every good campaign needs a reason to leave home. What sets the adventure in motion and gives your players a clear sense of purpose. And T is threat level. Let's talk danger. Who or what is the big bad, and what casino does he own that we're going to knock down?
Did you say the proverbial Ella Fitzgerald?
Yeah, because like in I was trying to come up with one on the spot. Like in Oceans, they all say like random words for like they'll to like say like different types of crimes they're up to.
Right.
And like I was just coming up with one right at the top of my head.
That's kind of wild. What crime is Ella Fitzgerald? I think that's very funny. I think it's a crime.
Idea.
It has to be a crime of passion because
of the
song At Last.
Sure. Oh, At Last. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
100%. Well, okay. Speaking of crime and speaking of oceans, we're doing, this is technically a Christian channel. We're going to talk about oceans, all the time. Okay, whatever. So we're doing this and the release is around New Year's. Why? Because the original Ocean's 11 with Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack is based around New Year's Eve. The newer one with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, etc., is not necessarily so. But so Taylor, I'm pretty sure you've seen the one with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Have you seen the one with Frank Sinatra?
I have not. So I just recently found out that was technically a remake. That Ocean's 11 is a remake.
Not all remakes are bad, guys. Let me ask you then to guess the plot of the Ocean's 11 from back in the day of the 1960s.
Is it not the same? Oh no. Okay, well, it's a heist. It's a heist.
Yes.
In a casino. True. And they only have until midnight, because it's New Year's Eve. See, I listened. Mm-hmm. They only have until midnight to steal the thing and get away with it. And I'm assuming Frank Sinatra has to be the main guy. Frank Sinatra is George Clooney. He's probably a lady that kind of like ruins it all because he's in love with her and he just can't get away. But they steal the thing. Did I get it? Did I do it? Did I do it right? He has to also sing, maybe.
I don't know if he sings in this movie. Well, I'm trying to remember.
Whoever made that movie really missed the ticket on that one.
This is made in the 1960s, and Sinatra's already a star at this point, but he's kind of older. Fair. So that's definitely a big deal. I don't think there's romance in this movie.
There's no romance?
No,
it's
but
Frank Sinatra.
It's Angie Dickinson's in the movie. You know what? I don't totally know, but because I don't remember. I've watched this a long time ago. But you're somewhat right. They knocked down a bunch of Las Vegas casinos, and midnight, they knocked down 5 casinos.
Wow.
Which is the big thing that they do. And at midnight on New Year's Eve, they blow up a tower on the Las Vegas Strip, so the whole Las Vegas Strip goes dark, and they sneak into hotels and into the casinos and steal everything. Anyway, let's go talking about that. I would still give you 7 out of 10. Pretty solid.
I'll take a 6.
6? Okay, you can take whatever.
I think I deserve. Knowing that there was more than one stealing of things.
All 5 casinos at once.
Give me a 6. That's I missed a major plot point.
Well, I think part of the reason too, actually, is because the reason that there's 11 of them back in the day is they can steal from 5 casinos. While in the modern era, you can only really steal from 1, even if you've got 11 guys, because security is so much harder, etc. Like if you blew the power in the Las Vegas Strip, like they just held up the money tellers and like get them to give them all the money. Like that would not work in the modern era whatsoever, right? Like even in 2001,
Yeah,
you would. So that's
security
why you need the
cameras
11 to
have
get through
dark
everything
vision.
else. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about base build. What are the core components of Ocean's 11 / what are the core components of a good heist?
Number 1, planning phase. Number 2, execution. Number 3, foiling of the plan. Number 4, replanning the plan. These are just things that I've heard from Kyle. But, however, truly base build, things that are super duper important, is the planning. Is like the major components of a heist, which is the planning of it. I think the fun part are the roles. I think everybody has to have a different role. I think if we're turning this into a D&D thing, everybody's class has to be different. I don't think two people, unless you like make a trope where it's like these are the twins and like they can like be the distraction because they can be each other. Like that's
Right.
which is exciting. So it's like you have two, I don't know, maybe you have like two wizards or two bards. Like bards would be more interesting, but like the bards are the distracting ones and but they're twins. So it's like one bard could be in one place, one could be in the other, and they can confuse people.
I mean, Casey Affleck and Scott Conn in Ocean's 11 basically have the same role, and but they're brothers, and they're tied to get the hip together, and they have a good time.
Exactly. So like,
or at Fast and the Furious, there's those two guys who only speak Spanish and blow everything up, and I love those guys.
Right. And so it's like that you could use that trope. But other than that, I think everybody has to have a trope. Everyone has to have a role. What is it called? Archetype. That's the word I was trying to think
Archetype.
of.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone like creating those heist archetypes, tying them to classes, giving everybody that thing, I think is really a part of that base build. Allow people to plan, allow people to execute the plan, allow the plan to go wrong, and have them recontextualize what they need to do in order to actually successfully get out, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, a good planning phase, in my opinion, is the most important part for how these one-shots work, and heists work in general, right? Like, if you're going to have a 3-hour one-shot, dedicate a solid hour to just planning. Yep. Right. Now, planning doesn't just mean you sit around in a room and you talk. And it would be, you can do that if your party is of that ilk. But what you would probably do is say, all right, everybody, here's the basic premise. And you lay it all out. And you have a guy, like an NPC, who has the information, and they tell you some information. And you've got the leader or two. Usually in these types of movies, you've got a leader, the mastermind, and then you've got a number 2, right? And that's like George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Yeah. And you give them some of the information, or they already know the information. They kind of lay it out, right? To the group. And then everybody says, okay, let's figure out, here are some of the key problems that are in our way. Like, you know, in a modern setting, that's like security cameras, guards, and the vault. And if you're going to do it fantasy style, it's like, hey, there's scrying, there's magical scrying, there's guards, and there's a vault, right?
Yeah.
And here's what you got to get past. And then everybody says, okay, let's try and tackle how we can take care of these problems. And you experiment a bunch with how to tackle the problem. And that's one of the coolest parts about Ocean's 11, like the 2001 one, is they are practicing how to break into the vault before they even go.
Yeah.
Right? Cool, fascinating stuff. That's a really cool part of the plan. And it builds tension and interest because you've tried it a bunch of times. And eventually you like give the party a chance to figure out how to solve the problem before they even get there. Like, and know that they have a solution that works, right? Ultimately, a heist is an elaborate puzzle. But in that first hour, give them the solution to the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So that they feel confident. Because when they execute, your goal is to foil the plan, right?
Yeah.
In an interesting way. They're going to roll to see if they fail. And when that plan fails, create chaos and make it so that they still have to try and execute their plan, but with complications. And that's the best part.
Me and Kyle had this conversation because I had to make a heist for a storyteller one shot that I did, and it was a Western heist. But the cool thing about it is that we both chatted and figured out, like, oh, give them a physical map, like give them a blueprint. Like every heist movie, they have some version of a map so they can see what's going on. And I think something that was very exciting, which this can maybe be extra froth, maybe this is just weird for us, but have them roll in the planning phase to see how much information they actually do know about the map. And that gives you as a GM some things that you can withhold to use as tools to thwart the plan. Right. So like they didn't all know about we did a train car heist, and they didn't all know that in like one of the rooms there was a cellmate who was also a thief. And when they get there, he's going to use their entrance to pop out and escape from his jail cell. And so that thwarts their plan, because now they have a rival thief in the middle of their heist that they have to deal with.
Who's trying to steal a thing. Yeah.
Exactly. But they wouldn't have they would have only discovered that if they rolled like a 20 on their wisdom check or intelligence check, you know? So I think it's fun, like in the planning phase, to incorporate a map, but also like maybe they have to roll to see how much they know about the room, about the blueprint. You know?
Right. Unlike the way that you would go into a regular dungeon in Dungeons and Dragons, where you like, okay, you enter the room, you investigate the room, you perceive the room, you see what happens. They should have not. There should be no surprises, for the most part, unless you're intentionally trying to follow their plan with new information, right? So they should already learn how the room works, what it looks like, what's in the room, how the guard patterns work, all that sort of stuff. That will make them feel like their plan is foolproof, and then you screw it up, right? And that's the best part. Here's the other thing I'll say, right? This is the other thing that I think creates the right vibe, but it's also, I would almost say it's the base build, right? Is I would give everybody a point of inspiration or of like heisting or retcon or whatever you want to call it, where you could say, we actually planned for this. And here's how, right? In Ocean's 11, there's a moment where Danny Ocean, George Clooney, is in a room and he's gotten caught and he's about to get beaten up by an enforcer. But it turns out he already hired this enforcer and he's just faking getting beaten up in the room. And it's a wonderful, wonderful scene of everyone just going, ah, and it's like punching, like, you know, the guy slamming the table and doing stuff. That is one of the coolest feelings you can get, right? Is, all right, let's spend a point of retcon to try and make it so that this was already planned for. And you should make them roll for it. But if they spend their point and they succeed, they can explain how they already planned for this, right? And it will feel great if they hit it.
I agree. That's really awesome.
With all that, we've gotten most of what we're doing here. We're going to do, like, the inciting quest is steal something from a crazy location, right? Always make it feel hard to steal from and gradually give your players stuff. Whatever that location is, up to you. Make it a castle. If you want to do it in the modern era, make it a casino or make it a bank. Doesn't matter. What really will help us build this, though, is the right vibe and resonance, right? Which is resonance and vibe that are, how are we going to make it feel like Ocean's 11, as opposed to, say, like a heist movie like Fast and the Furious 5, or Heat is technically a heist movie. You know, Point Break has some bank robberies type stuff in it. Like, we just talked about The Grinch. That's technically a heist movie too.
The Grinch is a heist movie,
but it's not gonna feel like Ocean's 11. So how do we make it feel like Ocean's 11?
My biggest thing is, one, I think you hit the nail on the head with like the resonance and vibe of like throwing in that retcon point of like, oh, we already planned for this. I think that's a big part of the fun of Ocean's 11 is like, you're not actually sure what they know and they don't know. You're not actually sure what they planned for and what they didn't plan for, even though you think you saw the plan, but you don't know if that's everything. And the surprise of them actually having already planned for this. I think for me, the thing that I would throw in is the music, man. This soundtrack is like, what is the planning music? What is the specific music for when they actually start the plan? What is the music for when things go wrong? What is the music if somebody gets stabbed? Like, what if somebody dies and that wasn't the plan? Like, what is it? What does the music look like when the big bad enters? And you're like, wait, we weren't supposed to see him until, like, we were supposed to get out before he got here, you know?
Right.
So, and what's the success music? You gotta have success music, you know?
Right. I think that's one of the most important pieces. One of the best part of Ocean's 11 and 12, but especially 11, is it feels like, George Clooney and Brad Pitt are the coolest people around. And they know everybody else. And everybody knows each other. And they have their secret code language. And they just kind of know everything. As I said, I said like, oh, it's like the Ella Fitzgerald. I think I forget like what the actual references they make are. But like they're like using these terms. It's like they have like a Driving Miss Daisy quote. Like, and it's like, oh, like, what is that? We don't know what it is, but they know. And the important part is not that we know what it is. We know, but we know that they know. And like they walk up to some people, they work a guy, and they're playing off of each other, and they come back, right? So one, encourage your players to try some stuff like this, but then let it succeed. right? Is one thing for the right vibe to make sure that happens. But also the other thing I would include would be a menu of people who they know already. Like the party already knows that, hey, we already know as a group of 4 or a group of 2, we already know here's another 8 people we can hire, and we have to pick between 4 of them. We only need 4 for the job. Let's pick them, and you can say like, hey, what do we know about these people, and like give some of the players in the group different knowledge pieces about each of the people in the list. So like you'll know like what party number 1 will know that safecracker like caves under pressure unless he's eaten a good meal that day, right? Or party member number 2 knows that his ex-girlfriend is the potential cat burglar or in this one, and we can't work with them because they're an ex, and then everyone has to convince them like, yeah, but they're the only cat burglar, so we need them. It's like, oh, okay, I'll work with my ex, like stuff like that. Like that will make it feel the right vibe overall. And also try and make it personal. Like the villain, whoever that's going to be, let's make it a little personal. That's how Ocean's 11 works, where George Clooney is like basically trying to stick it to his ex-girlfriend's new thing,
new husband or new boyfriend. Yeah.
So with that being said, who would we make the villain of this whole thing?
And this is where I bring in the romance, because I think the villain should be I think it should be somewhat like a romantic love interest. I think that's more fun than anything else.
Okay.
If the big bad is literally like a rival who you had ex relationships with, like, or that you like actually are currently technically dating. Like it brings in a lot of the dynamic of Mr. and Mrs. Smith that I think people love so much, is that their characters, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, are married and rivals. Like, and that's cool. Because the dynamic of them trying to outwit each other, but also being like, but honestly, I just kind of love you. Like, it's like really great. So, and I think it's ripe for something more fun than just combat. So I would say, I think if the love interest is the big bad, of course the big bad, we can make it easy and we can make the big bad the person, like we could do Ocean's 11. The big bad is dating your ex. That's great. But what's more interesting is the big bad is your ex, or the big bad is the person you just took out to dinner. Like, and they're like, oh wait, you own this casino? And like, yeah, I said it, but you were drinking, so like you were.
That is awesome. Okay, someone who's a love interest of one of the party members who they just took out on a date is amazing. I just watched The Town again. Love it. My favorite Boston movie, right? The Ben Affleck has a thing for Rebecca Hall throughout the movie, and he like stole from her bank, right? But they don't know that, and like she doesn't know that, and it's sort of like is this a good thing type of situation. This one is even funnier because like there's like they've had one date, they met completely independently, and now they're here. That's great. Okay, so if we're trying to pull off an Ocean's 11 style heist, you want to make sure everybody has a heist archetype. You know, the getaway driver, the safe cracker, etc. Give them a single class. Make sure there's no overlap. You want a planning phase, an execution phase, a foil the plan phase, and then a resolve everything phase. So make sure the planning phase as a dungeon master includes learning and addressing problems and coming up with a powerful solution for the party. The party comes up with this solution so that when they reach the execution phase, you, the GM, can foil the plan and make it complicated. In general, roll to see how much info they learn during this learning and planning phase. Give them maps and blueprints if you can too. I would highly suggest 2 other mechanics. That's retcon points. Players can spend points to say that they actually planned for this, and they roll to see if they really did plan for this. When something goes wrong, they can say this was actually a part of our plan, and they can twist to see how they make it, to give it that right feel. And then also build a menu of people who the party can hire, who specific people in the party know info about, so that it feels personal. And of course, please utilize the soundtrack of Oceans to get the vibes right. Also, like The Italian Job, a bunch of these other movies, make it feel right. And our final twist: make the villain someone who is a love interest of the party member who they just took out on a date, completely independently of the heist, but then they're going to try and steal from them, and we'll see how that dynamic plays out. That's fascinating and super cool. Love that. Taylor, any final thoughts on Ocean's 11 and D&D?
Ocean's 11 is great. Heists are good. The Grinch is a heist.
I love oceans. And if you have, this is a little minor extra froth for me, make some shrimp cocktails with some dip and make sure people are eating the entire time.
Wait, that's so exciting.
Brad
oh my gosh.
Pitt is always eating.
Make him
in the movie.
eat. Oh,
And
and,
he's
and
one of
dress
the-
up. And
He's
everyone
one of the
has to
men
dress up.
who looks he's like the most attractive person ever when he eats. He somehow still maintains his attractiveness. It's crazy.
crazy.
Most people are not attractive when they eat. Crazy.
I don't
Him and Han from Fast and the Furious. Anyway, thanks for watching our video. Like and subscribe for more content like this.
This is How We Brew It is bringing Ocean's 11 to you. On January 31st, you can play our one-shot at the Hub NYC in New York City. With me as your Dungeon Master, get ready to plan a heist, execute, and take on the twist that changes everything. No experience needed. Just find the link in our bio and we'll see you there.
Hey friends, also just want to shout out our patrons on Patreon, Matthew Matheny, who upgraded to the Covenant Cleric tier. Thanks so much, Matthew. And also our other Follow the Compass tier patrons, Fizz and Fedorable Will. Thanks everybody. And if you join our Patreon, we would appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this.